Hi people, welcome back to the tutorial on how to hack metasploitable2. I'm very excited about this episode. Today we're going to attempt to exploit the service running on port 22. A quick heads up. What is SSH? Well, first, SSH is a service running on port 22. It stands for Secure Shell. It's a cryptographic network protocol for operating network services securely over an unsecure network such as the internet. If you're actually using SSH, it would be sensible to consider public and private key pairs for authentication instead of password. This is because if we have the victim SSH login credentials, as I will show in this tutorial, we can easily log into the machine. The key pair make for a much more secure connection. And that is the issue here with the metasploitable2 vulnerable machine, i.e. the use of password, or in some cases lack of. Obviously, this was set up for testing purposes. In a way, it's a good way for us to learn. Let's bring up Kali Linux here. As always, before we start, we should first connect the PostgreSQL database to Metasploit. In this way, we can speed up our Metasploit module searches. The command is command does require root privileges. We can check the status and it's up and running. So let's start a new terminal and launch Metasploit by typing msf console. This will start Metasploit. In this exploit, we're not necessarily exploiting a vulnerability as such in the service of SSH, but we are basically hoping that somebody did not use a good enough password, or we managed to get hold of valid credentials somewhere. We've got the shell up and running, so we're going to be using an auxiliary here. Right, let's find out what the options are for this auxiliary. There's quite a few settings to change here, really. So as we can actually see, the port has already been set, port 22. That's the remote port, and we need to configure the IP address of our vulnerable machine, which would be the remote host. Control set. Alright, so we've got our configurations done, and we also need to do something about the verbals. That's set to true because that sort of shows an output as we progress. I think we're also going to need two files, one containing usernames and the other containing passwords. I created these for this tutorial and they're located on my desktop. And let's have a look here. And you can see the username and you can see the password. You've got to make sure that it's one per line. That's what's been suggested by the documentation. And you can see also that we've got MSF admin as part of the usernames, and that also is the same thing with the passwords. So we know this is going to work thanks to our enumeration phase that we carried out in the earlier phases. Otherwise, you might need the help of password cracking tools such as Hydra or John the Ripper to help you find a working combination of credential. So let's bring back the terminal and set the relevant files. User files. Do the same thing for the password, the pass file. And I think we also need to set the stop on success to true. It will become obvious the minute we run an exploit. Right, so the necessary configuration are done, so we can just run auxiliary module here. See, as you can see, the exploit will check for the valid combination, and sadly, the longer the file size, the longer the wait. Hence, we activate the stop on success. It's not always ideal because you could end up with a user with low privileges, and also because you always want to have all possible valid combination of credentials. Yeah, I'm sorry about the wait, but that's what cybersecurity is about. When it comes to password cracking, it can take a very, very long time. So it shouldn't be too long. It's a very short list of username and password. Oh, it's done it. So as you can see, we have a green line of success here on the left hand side with a plus sign, and we can see that these are the valid credentials of a vulnerable machine. So we run a very successful attack. Plus we have a shell. At this point, we can create a session with the machine that we have compromised, logged in as user MSF admin. So if we enter session I, yes, it starts interacting with the remote machine. So, for example, you can run the very basic commands and try and find out information about the operating system and system hardware. There you go. We can see that we can actually have access to that sort of information. We can run commands such as ls. We could also run commands such as who am I. Now you can clearly that you are MSF admin, so it's very limited privilege, but still some sort of administrative privileges. You can elevate your privilege to become the root users, but that is something that could be done. And print working directory. You can go up a directory. With the SSH credential, we can also SSH our way into the vulnerable machine from our attacking machine. All we have to do is to enter the following commands. And clearly an access control is in place in the form of password, but fortunately for us, we've just cracked it and it is MSF admin. As you can see, we've found our way into the metasploitable machine. You can run step commands to verify that is the case, such as ifconfig. And there we are. That's the IP address of our metasploitable vulnerable machine. And find out who am I. Same thing, MSF admin. And we have successfully taken advantage of the fact that port 22 was open. This tutorial is done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.